Hello there guys and welcome back to Blues Fans TV for yet another Premier League match preview by myself as Chelsea are to take on Manchester City at Stamford Bridge tomorrow on the 3rd of January at 4:30 p.m. UK time. And first of all, before saying anything else, a Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you all had a good, turn of the year, I guess. Let's leave what's in the past behind us. Let's look forward and let's hope here's to a much better year. And although we're still not 100% sure whether this game between Chelsea and Manchester City will actually go ahead, although it is very likely at this point, if it does, it is a huge game for Chelsea and Frank Lampard. At this point, it doesn't matter who we're playing. Whether we're the favourites or not, we cannot afford to drop any more points. We have to win. We simply have to. Hakim Ziyech has returned to full training, which is great news, but Chelsea are missing one of the fullbacks, while Manchester City are missing 5 players due to self-isolation, although only 3 of those are actually known to the public. Stick around to find about all of that, my predicted 11, and what I think needs to be done by Chelsea to beat Manchester City. Before getting into the rest of the video, let me remind you to please subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. That'd be massively appreciated. Make sure you smash the like button if you do enjoy our content, if you're excited for the game, and just if you want to cheer me up. Your likes do cheer me up, so who doesn't want to do that? Please do that, subscribe, drop a like, and of course leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my personal channel as well. The link is down in the description, or if you click the I button up there, I do in-depth analysis of every single Chelsea game the day after every single Chelsea game. I get guests on, whether it be Matisse or Lewis or the Grand Dam. I get people involved, I get your thoughts involved, so be sure to tune in for that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I might see you there on the day after the Chelsea City game. Get Football Manager 21 with a discount of 10% if you use the code BluesFansTV after clicking the link in the description. And if you fancy any of the new Chelsea kits, any football gear really, any football merch, make sure you use the other link down in the description below and use our promo code BALLER for a discount at checkout. But enough of that now, let's get into the video itself. And as usual, of course, we're starting it off with the team news that Frank Lampard provided in his pre-match press conference. Like I said already, Hakim Ziyech has returned to full training, and by the time you're watching this, he will have had 4 or 5 days of working in full training with the group in his legs. So, that is obviously good. The boss, Frank Lampard, did just say that we'll have to wait and see whether the Moroccan is actually ready to start or not. Personally, I think he might be, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. On the negative side of things, we are missing Reece James. We are missing Reece James, but not because of that knee injury that we were worried about not long ago, where there were reports he might even require surgery. No, he actually just picked up a small hamstring issue. So that obviously isn't great, but that is really all of the team news. And with that said, let's get into my predicted 11 and the team I will pick myself. And starting with the latter, of course, on this side of the screen, I think the back 5 kind of picks itself at this point. Edouard Mendy in goal. Obviously, even with the rumours at the moment flying about that Chelsea will try to pursue Gianluigi Donnarumma from AC Milan on a free transfer, because for the time being, he hasn't signed a contract extension there. But Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma should and will be the 2 centre-backs. Ben Chilwell at left-back if his ankle allows it, I guess. And then at right-back, obviously, Azpilicueta, while Reece James is out injured. But coming to the midfield 3, and yes, I am sticking to the 4-3-3 because, in my opinion, it is the best way of playing football. And I don't agree to make one player a little bit better, even if I disagree with that for, the players you guys are always on about. I don't think you should change the system for that. One thing's for sure, though, that N'Golo Kante is starting as the DM, not as the number 8. Absolutely not. He was absolutely dreadful against Aston Villa in that position until, obviously, he changed back into the number 6 role. He was good then. So unless we have to, I don't want to see him in the number 8 role again, at least for the foreseeable future. You guys know me. I rate Mason Mount. And hey, we also had a fair few days off since the last game, so he absolutely has to start again as the left centre mid. Although I do need his corner deliveries to improve again, because they have been a bit off for the last couple of games. And I would prefer him to stay a bit deeper and not be so aggressive. I would like to, I would like for him to play, pull a few more of the strings from a bit deeper on the pitch. On the right side then, I think Kai Havertz has to start. Unlike with Werner, who has 0 confidence after playing all of the time, Havertz, in my opinion, needs starts and game time to get that confidence back. So he's my right number 8. Even if against Man City, that might be a bit risky, I think we have to believe in the guy, and that's where his confidence will come from. And then, like the back 4, I think the wingers pick themselves as well. Either Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi, or if Ziyech is fit, Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. Although you could argue that Hudson-Odoi simply deserves to start, even if Ziyech is fit. But would you play him over Pulisic? I wouldn't. And we need Hakim Ziyech real bad right now, because if anyone can save us out of this slump right now, I think it's him. And both us as the fans, the club overall, and Frank Lampard really need him to do that right now. So it definitely has to be 2 of those 3. no Timo Werner out there, that's for sure. But not because I'm actually dropping him, which might have assumed, but because I'm starting him up front. If there was ever the perfect game to start Timo Werner up front, it's probably against Man City. It probably is. But coming to my predicted 11, after you've seen my team on this side of the screen, I also think Frank Lampard will stick to the 4-3-3. Of course, you're about to see it on this side of the screen now, but especially because for some unexplainable reason, he was even happy with our performance against Villa, so I would be extremely shocked if he changed the formation. I'm pretty sure he will go with the same back five as I would, as you can see on screen, obviously. And to be honest, I'm even pretty confident he'll pick the same midfield three as myself, other than Havertz, because I reckon he'll start Mateo Kovacic mainly for the defensive work rate against Man City. Because remember, whenever we have played Man City under Frank Lampard, we've always used a very flat midfield three, not so much of a DM and 2 8s. It was more of a flat three. And I would say, even myself, Kovacic is probably more suited to that, hence why I wasn't 100% sure about him picking Havertz in my own team. But that's why I think Frank will pick Kovacic over him. Although, I say that, Frank did take Kovacic off at half-time against Arsenal. I didn't use him against Villa. So maybe he's out of favour at the moment and maybe he won't start him. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But as for the front three, I genuinely have no idea who Frank Lampard will start. The only thing I'm sure about is Hakim Ziyech will start if he is fit to do so. But I have no way of knowing whether he will be fit to start or not. So it's a difficult one. I do actually think if he is fit, I think he'll go for the same front three as myself, of Ziyech and Pulisic on the wings and Timo Werner up top. One small negative that you have about Hakim Ziyech is that he's not quick. He really isn't. So if we start, for example, Olivier Giroud up top, we only have one pacey forward, which, you know, when we try to break down a team that sits really deep, that might not be the biggest issue. But when we play against Man City, where there will be spacing behind, we just need to be good enough to exploit it. To only have one pacey forward is not what you should be doing. Especially because we might, you know, we are likely to hit on the counter-attack at least a few times. So it would seem a bit dumb to start Olivier Giroud. Tammy Abraham does have the pace and the link-up play as well, especially this season. But I'm not sure he'll make the runs we'll need for him to actually make good use of his pace. And I'm pretty confident that Timo Werner will. So because of that, I think Frank will also start Timo Werner up front, just like myself. But let's see whether I'm right or wrong. And talking about the game itself, we need to do so much more than we have done recently in the last few games, honestly. The intensity needs to be tripled, at least. The work rate needs to be quadrupled. And both the pace and the accuracy in the passing need to be like 100 times better. It's outrageous how slow we've been. Since the Leeds game, we've been so badly, embarrassingly slow. It's outrageous. Like, we've rotated enough for the players to sort themselves out, and I'm not accepting any slander for Frank Lampard for this. These are footballers. This is your job to do this. So bloody perform. Honestly, bloody perform. Playing a lot of crosses is one thing, and I criticised it myself. But making it that easy to stop and predict is a whole different story, because there is crossing and there is crossing. You can cross in 5 different ways. We do the same thing every time. Of course, if Ziyech starts, we have at least a little bit more variety to it. But just giving out to the fullback and whipping it in and just hoping is not good enough. Sometimes you need to have a cutback. Sometimes you need to have a high cross, low cross. If you're going to cross, which is not the biggest issue. Liverpool crossed the ball a lot as well, but you can't make it that easy to stop and predict. You know, it's ridiculous, honestly. It really, really is. And like I said, the players need to do more as well. Run, interchange, show some bloody creativity, please, for goodness sake. I mean, that's what I call creative players, because they're meant to create things that aren't just necessarily from drills on a training pitch. Because, you know, drills on a training pitch, these are all good at football, these guys, right? So if it's all just doing things from the training pitch anyway, you know, much worse footballers should be doing that. We shouldn't be paying the amount of money we've paid for some of these players if all we do is what we do in the training pitch anyway. That's why they're creative players. Do you think Kevin De Bruyne, all he does is what Pep Guardiola tells him? Absolutely not. That's why he's so good and difficult to predict. It's ridiculous. We need to do more. And obviously, against City, we also need to be good, solid, defensively, as well as clinical in front of goals ourselves, because they have a good defense and they are just really, really good. And I guess that brings me on to Man City. Currently 8th in the table, but level on points with all of Chelsea, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Southampton, and West Ham, going from 5th to 10th. Although I think, Tottenham have now beaten Leeds, haven't they? So it's, well, I guess they're not in there anymore then. But City have 2 games in hand as well, which almost, well, I guess it takes a little bit away from their impressive defensive record, but still, in 14 games, conceding just 12 goals is really, really good. The least of any team in the league, obviously. And their scoring, on the other hand, has been a little bit unlike any City team we've really seen for probably a decade. Just 21 goals in 14 games. That's 16 goals less than the highest scoring team in Liverpool. That's not the kind of City we're used to. And they struggled at the start of the season, but even that probably looked worse than it actually was, because they've only lost 2 games all season. They've just had a few too many draws. But, you know, if they win their games in hand, You know, they're actually top already with Liverpool and the penalty merchants all, you know, joined top. And recently, Man City's form has been good. Yes, dropping points every now and then, but pretty much everyone does these days, don't they? And they haven't lost the game since November 21st when they lost 2-0 at Tottenham. But before talking about some of their features as a team that we should be wary of, I have to talk about that Manchester City are missing 5 players following positive test results earlier in the week that had their game against Everton postponed as well. So they have more rest as well if you think about it. We know of Kyle Walker, Gabriel Jesus and Ederson. We know that those 3 are out, but the other 2, at least at time of recording, are not known to the public. So of course it is some advantage to us that they have 5 first team players missing, but it's Man City. They have an unbelievable squad, and other than, you know, us being less likely to get a penalty when Walker isn't playing because he loves to give those away, it probably won't change that much of the game itself. Stats-wise though, they're up there in every department except taking chances. So I mentioned them scoring, you know, so few goals this season, but it isn't down because they're not creating much. It's because they miss the most big chances out of any team in the league. That's kind of the biggest issue. And if you watch any of the City games, it's a bit of a Guardiola issue, I guess. They sometimes just pass it, not just once too many, they pass it like 3 times too many rather than taking a shot in good positions at times. But of course, everyone makes it difficult against Man City sitting extremely deep. And hey, as we know from experience, sometimes it's not easy to break someone down if they sit back with pretty much 10 men behind the ball. But they're obviously still a dangerous team. Really, a really good opponent, right? You know, whether it's Aguero, whether it's Raheem Sterling, Mahrez, De Bruyne, or whoever else, they will be a problem. They absolutely will be with their press, with how good they are on the ball, and this season, even with how good they are defensively. But like I said in the beginning of the video already, we absolutely have to win this game. So even if I'm not 100% confident that we will win, I'm going to talk it into existence that we will and predict another 2-1 home win over Manchester City like we already had, was it in June, after restart anyway, which was a brilliant win. So let's hope we can replicate that. That would be absolutely bloody brilliant. But to be honest, guys, that has really been it from me. So, you know, if you haven't already, like I said in the beginning already, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV. That'd be massively appreciated. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, if you're excited for the game, and if you just want to cheer me up. And of course, leave me your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my personal channel, to which, like I said, the link is down in the description below, or if you click the I button up there, subscribe for in-depth analysis of every single Chelsea game the day after every single Chelsea game. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on it. I get your thoughts involved, your opinions involved. I would just try to process whatever the game may have brought. Get Football Manager 21 with a discount of 10% if you use the code BluesFansTV after clicking the link in the description. And if you want to order any Chelsea gear, any football match, make sure you use the other link down in the description and use our promo code BALLER for a discount at checkout. But to be honest, guys, that has really been it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Really hope we can, you know, get something out of this game. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.